This is how to complete the children's party planning Excel task. So the first thing we've got to do is to get the columns looking the right width. As you can see, the words overlap these columns here. And in these columns, you can't read all the words. So you can either go at the top and move it, or if you double click, once your mouse turns into the double arrow, it will automatically fill the whole cell. I want to set up 3 separate tables here. I've got options here, and I've got the price quantity that doesn't show up in this one. So I want these 3 options. I'm going to copy. I want them to show up here. And they've been pasted. I then need these totals. I copy them. I need these to show up underneath. So I've got totals I can put in here. Now the bottom one here, I've got a final table. I'm going to type these ones in so you can see how that works. Option 1. Option 2. And it started to work out what I'm trying to say. Option 3. Now, as you can see, these don't look the same. This has been merged. So to get these to be in between 2 cells, I highlight it and we go to merge. I'll do the same with all 3. At the bottom here now, I need our prices. I'm going to copy these. I'm just going to use the Control and C. And then the totals, Control and C. Right, now I'm going to make these tables look a bit nicer so we can tell they are 3 separate tables. So I'm going to highlight all of this top one. In fact, I'm just going to highlight just this bit because you'll see I can then highlight just little bits and these can be blank because I don't need them. Now for me, this is much too close now to this. So I'm going to highlight all of these. I'm going to drag them down 1 space. That looks nicer. So I'm now going to do the border with the same, the rest of the tables. And again, these options here now, because I've just moved them, but not merged anymore. So let me merge them. So there's our setting up the 3 tables. I now want to make them look a bit nicer. So I'm going to take these options at the top, I'm going to use the fill, I'm going to make these, each one I'll do different colours, and I'll make them go darker. So option 1 I'm going to do accent 6. Next column, let's go from here, I'm going to go accent 6 and do it the lighter, 60%, so a little bit lighter. And the same there. My prices then, I'm going to make it really light. So I'm going to do the same the next one. I'm going to pick another colour, purple. And again, same lightness. I haven't got my prices in yet, but I can do those. And then finally, let's pick a third colour. Straight away, we can start to see the tables are looking much nicer. Let's put the lighter colour at the bottom as well. Let's pull them all together. For me, that looks really nice. So I'm going to fill in the data in here. So whenever I put in the quantity, it's going to work out how much it is. So there's the price. So I start with price equals, and I want that times whatever's in the quantity, and I press enter. So the moment is on 0, but if I put 2 in there, that should go to 30, and so on. Now, rather than having to do this again, I'm going to click on the little square at the bottom, I'm going to drag down. So if I put this in anywhere, that's times this number. We can do the same, equals the price times whatever the quantity is in this option. And then drag this down and do the same here, price times quantity, whatever's in there. And then we'll drag this down. The same thing will be done in these two tables. Another issue here is I now need to add all these up. So to do that, we're going to use our sum formula. So I'm going to press sum, I'm going to highlight all of the cells, close the brackets, press enter. I'll do the same for each of these, and if you can see, it'll actually try to work out what it thinks you're going to do. So actually that is exactly what I want to do. So you can see it's done it for me. Now, that's your basic formula. One thing we need to do though is to format these numbers, because at the moment this is meant to be money and it's not showing as money. So I'm going to highlight my money and here change this to English. I'll need to do the same for all of these. So now whatever quantity I put in, it'll work it all out. And it will put the totals down the bottom and all in pound coins. You would do the same then for these three tables. Now I need to also format some of this text. So the top here, we've all got the same text size. So let's take these options and I'm going to make it a little bit bigger and make it size 14 text. I'm also going to bold the options. These at the top here, I'm going to italic them, make them look a bit interesting, and same with the totals, maybe down the bottom here. I think they're looking a bit nicer. Now we can see this total is across the right, but these ones are across the left. So I'm going to select this, and I'm going to right justify it. Finally, this food, again, it's got to be separate from this, so maybe I'll underline it and put it in the middle so it looks slightly different. These can then all just stay the same. So I've formatted my text. So I've done borders, I've done fill, I've done fonts. I haven't done fonts. So I need to do fonts now. So I'm going to take these options, I'm going to change the font of the options. So something that's nice and smart. There we go. So I've changed the font of those options. So it's really clear that they're separate to everything else. And then I've put bold and I've changed the size. For the next stage, I need to add a new page. So what I'm going to do is do a dashboard now. So I'm going to rename it by double clicking and calling it dashboard. So this dashboard now is going to have some extra formula and extra things I need. So it's an easy look, as this can look quite complicated. It's an easy look on here. So let's go for food first. So I'm going to put in my corner here. I'm going to write food. This is the one we're going to be looking at. And I'm going to put max, min, average, and difference. So with the food, put price. Let's create a little table. Now the food I did in green, so let's keep that the same. And I just want to display the max price in here. So I'm going to press equals, and I'm going to put max, and then I'm going to go to the food prices tab. and I'm going to click this one. I'm going to press a comma. I'm going to press this one. I press a comma, and I'm going to press this one. Then I'm going to close my brackets. So it's when the max of D15 in the food prices, F15 and H15. This in front, food prices, just means I've gone to the food prices sheet. And I press enter. And now it's given me the max price, which is 228.5, 228.5. Again, I'm going to do the same for min. Equals min, brackets, click that one, press comma, that one, comma, that one, comma. Ooh, I don't need a comma on the end, I need close brackets, and it's giving me the minimum. I'll do the same for the average. That's given me the average, and then the difference would be the difference between the max and the minimum. So the difference is going to be this, take away this. Let's get them all as pound coins, and that looks much easier to understand than this. So we can very clearly see the different prices. Now it would be quite good to create a chart with these prices here. So what I'm going to do is have 3 different charts so you can see different things we could do. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight all the different foods. I'm going to hold down Control on my keyboard, and I'm going to highlight the quantity of each option. I'm then going to go to Insert, and let's go for a bar graph. I can now see what the amount of each different type of food is alongside the others. We've got our 3 series down the bottom. Maybe double click to go into our options, and we can rename series 1 as option 1, series 2 as option 2, series 3 as option 3. Give it a chart title. Food amount per option seems fine. So that is a graph that might be useful. We could also, if we need to, have our 3 totals. So I've clicked on the first total, second total, and third while holding Control. And I'm now going to pull up a graph. So this one has got option 1, 2, and 3, and the price, and you can see really clearly what the difference is. Again, I can double click where it says series, so we can give it a title, options. I'll change to options. And then if I need to, I can change the food by price comparisons. And there is a nice little table. Final one we could do is if we just take one of these options at a time. So let's just take option 3. I'm just going to highlight, let's take the front. I'm then going to highlight option 3 while holding Control. And I'm going to insert a bar graph, a pie chart. And it's now going to show me, I get as big as possible, percentage each food takes up from the total cost. So those are different ways you can create charts to complete your assignments. The final thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try and create a table. Now this means we can sort out our data, because at the moment These are all different prices here. Also, we've got the costs all in a random order. So this is a bit more advanced. You highlight just the table you want. Now, we don't want to have our options because they aren't going to be important in sorting. And we don't want our totals because if our totals are in there, they're going to get sorted in with the prices and they're always going to be the highest number because it's adding up everything in there. So once you've highlighted, you go to Insert, Table. Now our table does have headers. Headers means, does it explain what it means at the top? And press OK. And here you can see it's slightly changed our formatting. So if we don't like that, we can highlight it. And we can change the text color back to black. What it has done though, it has added a number 4, well, a number 1, 2, 3, and 4 to our quantity, our cost. Because you can't have the same heading in more than one table. So we could change this to 2. And then this to 3. And this to 3 as well, if we need to. What that means now is, if I click on the little arrow, I can change and organize this by largest to smallest. And it will change all the on here, and it will change the prices here. I could change the quantity from smallest to largest. So again, it's changed the whole table. I can also format, if I only want to see things that haven't been bought, by, and it will only show me costs with empty. And I can come back in here and clear filters. That is the final thing you might need to do with your tables. And the same would happen with these two. And you've got your dashboard then, which will show your basic information.